is there an issue that you guys recently addressed or talked about in y'all's groups? I know you guys do group mentoring where you have kind of community centers where the boys come and they hear a teaching and you guys have a group discussion. Is there anything that y'all have discussed recently or that you've addressed in a story of kids overcoming that reality that they're facing, that obstacle?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll give you one that we recently discussed just many hours ago, which was last night. I simply posed the question to the young men. Well, let me preface this first. So a lot of times we think mentoring requires super deep discussions and we have to have this big recipe for it. And what I've recognized over the course of doing mentorship and working with young people is you don't. I think what they respect is you being direct and to the point because they don't get that a lot. They get a lot of hustle, people coming at them from different angles, trying to either take things or get things or what have you. And so, we kind of just keep it real, raw, and straightforward. With that being said, one of the questions that I asked them, which was a very simple question, but yet it was very powerful, was, do you believe that you are a man? Period. Have you truly stepped into manhood? Yes or no? And allow them to answer that question in affirmative. You have some young men who will want to dance around that and try to create circumstances, situations, excuses, and that's not the question. That's not how you answer the question. The question that needs to be answered directly. Do you believe that you're a man? Do you believe that you've stepped into full manhood to consider yourself to be a man? Period. And, some of them said, yeah, I do. But it was shocking. And the magic is in it when you get the ones who say no. And they're well over 21. That's the powerful piece. And then to get them to analyze their answer and why they gave the answer under which they gave. Because when they give their answers, they will begin to define for you what they think a man is. So then you get into the real crux of their thought process and their value system or what have you. And then you can speak into that. And I found that to be, extremely powerful. And then more importantly is the takeaways, for those of them who said that, no, I don't consider myself to be a man. The beauty of it is that you've put them in a position where they have to do some self-examination and to analyze themselves. And the beauty in it is for the ones who did say no, who are well over 21, getting them to understand that they've operated in the great aspect of humility and that there's such a reward that's coming behind that. Whereas other guys, some of them maybe a few who said yes, knowing that they're not, it reveals some of the pride that they were operating in. So you have all of these dynamics in the room that you can deal with and that you can mentor through, and then be able to give them assignments for the next time that you meet them and talk to them, And so for the ones who said, no, I don't think I'm a man yet, then the assignment is, okay, then you need to go and you need to find two things that is holding you back from stepping into being a man. So it's so just to give you some context around that, that's one of the things that we've been dealing with.
That is such a good conversation. So
very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, it lets you get into their mindset of just
Absolutely.
I mean, I encourage any mentor to ask your kid that question.
Yes.
So cool.
Very powerful question.
And I feel like God really believes in your message, Korey Cross Dean, man up. I mean, that's a message for mentors. It's a message for kids. For us, I think God's standard of what it means to be a man is high, and that's a high calling, and we'll always be reaching for it. But it's worth it. It's worth it. And so really, thank you so much for being willing to call people up into that, because I know it calls you to a higher standard. And I think that's the call of a mentor, is to be willing to be called to that higher standard, to call people up into manhood.